Today we were talking about a scholar athlete named Andrew Jones who was at the top of his class at a Louisiana high school, had a 4.0 GPA, made him the valedictorian of his 2016 graduating class. Unfortunately, he was not allowed to walk at graduation because of one factor. He had a beard, and it was against the school dress code. Unfortunately, he was not able to walk at his graduation. I wanted to know what you thought.
The rules are the rules, but I wonder if he would be able to get a discrimination case going against that if he contacted an attorney.
If that's the code that it is, that's just like saying, okay, well, if you decide not to wear your cap and gown, you can't walk.
Yeah, he would have to abide by the rules then.
I don't think that's fair that they didn't let him walk across the stage with all his peers, man. I have a beard myself, and do you understand how long it could take to grow a beard, especially for somebody that's in high school, man?
Yeah, I do, but how long did it take you to get that diploma?
Well, yeah, I understand that, but, I don't think that that's a fair rule for them to put in place, even though it's been in place for some time here, to not allow facial hair. I don't think that it makes anybody less presentable as long as they take care of their facial hair. I believe strongly that they should have let him walk across the stage to feel that accomplishment. I don't feel that was right that he was robbed of that.
I personally feel there's a lot worse things in life than a beard. Suppose he had tattoos all over his face, or like tons of nose rings, or that chin thing. I mean, give me a break. I give the kid credit for standing up for what he felt, and I understand it's cool. But you know what? I would definitely feel upset that if my child wasn't allowed to graduate and some tattooed freak is out there, or ear piercings.
Okay. Careful with the freak talk. I have a tattoo, lady.
Okay, I'm calling for the kid that couldn't graduate.
Well, let me say this. He did get his diploma. He wasn't allowed to walk at graduation.
Well, he should have been. The school officials are really screwed up. And if he had no facial hair and somebody else did in another religion, it would have been okay. He should have been able to walk with his class.
I think definitely you should be able to walk the stage. These guys, or kids that are graduating, are moving on into life now. Why should they have to not start their life?
Yeah, let's say he does move on and he gets a job and his employer then goes to him and says, we have a dress code here. You have to wear a shirt and tie every day to work. And that young gentleman says, no, I don't want to wear a shirt and tie. I'm going to do whatever I want. Does that mean that the employer, because this guy is such a good employee, the employer should just allow him to do it? Or should the employer stick to its guns and say, no, we have a dress code and there's a certain way that we have to appear in public? Unfortunately, you have to do this. We're talking about moving into the real world now.
You make the choice if you want to work there.
Maybe the next guy, the jock, comes through and says, hey, we won a state championship. I want to have a beard at my graduation. I think the problem here is that the kid didn't follow the code. That's all there is to it.
My thinking is codes are probably so ancient, it's,
That's true.
Gosh, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's an antiquated rule. It's, like I try to go by two rules in life. Don't sweat the petty stuff. And don't pet the sweaty stuff. And, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, he's going to be going to college, and many of the professors, of course, have beards, I'm sure. I mean, in the real world, many professionals, doctors, lawyers, list goes on and on, have beards. I mean, I think it's an antiquated rule, and they should do away with it.
And that's actually what the superintendent said, too. Yeah, it might be a silly rule. But unfortunately, until that rule gets changed, my job as a superintendent is to enforce those rules. It's almost like saying, you know what, it's a silly rule to have a speed limit on the 990. Nobody follows it. Why do we even have one? I'm not going to follow that. But it is what it is. The rule is the rule. And unfortunately, people have to enforce that. And the superintendent is that guy.
Yeah. Well, there's some rules where it's going to be life-threatening to maybe yourself or someone else, and some it doesn't matter. And this, I think, falls into the latter category that, it'll lighten up. He broke his butt all year, for 4 years there, and was valedictorian. They should have, used that as not an exception, but they should have used it as a springboard to change the rule.
You know what? I would say, send it in the mail to me. I'm not shaving my beard. I'm not shaving my mustache. I would never shave my mustache off. I would say forget about it. No, put it in the mail.
Rules are the rules. He knew the rules when he entered it. What's the most prestigious baseball team in the Major League? The Yankees. They have a dress code. What did they do to Johnny Damon when he went to play for Yankees? He had to get his hair cut. Rules are rules. You got to follow them.
Very good example. Guys that are getting paid millions of dollars still have to follow rules.
That's right. And then you got a caller that says he should sue for discrimination. That's the problem with this country. Everybody wants to sue for everything. That's the rule. You got to follow it.